guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab. I'm so glad to have you back checking out what Chris and I are up to. So in today's video, I have actually went back through my thrift haul makeover videos and I am separating out some of the techniques that I have been using. I know there's a lot of information, a lot of when you're doing thrift hauls and you're doing their makeovers, not every item do I envision doing the same way. So I know I've added a lot of techniques into them, so I thought it would be nice once in a while to separate the techniques out and show you them all in one video. That way they're easier to save, so you can go back and like, hey, how did she do that? So anyway, so in today's video, I am doing patinas, and I have absolutely loved these patinas, and it was fun going back through the video for you all. The first time I started to my most recent makeover with the patinas. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. In my videos, but they sell, so it's kind of fun to come up with different ways to make them over. So one day when I was ordering something from Amazon, and Amazon suggested this patina wax. Now I'd used that agave paint in a recent video, loved that color, got good response, so I thought, okay, yeah, I will try this patina paint, this patina wax, which is the greenish blue in color and the rust on these little bitty birds. So when I tested out the rust color on black, you barely saw it. So quickly decided that, yep, the green was the way to go. The greenish blue was the way to go. But look at how it just makes these details pop. And I can tell you, I was having way too much fun on these little bitty birds. Bit more detail to are these pine cones, I'm going to call them. Yep, pine cones, that's what I'm going to call them. So yes, I'm going to be using that wax again that I got off Amazon. So it's a patina wax. One is the rust and the other one is that greenish blue color. So I had tried it on a previous project, but it was black and the rust didn't really show up. So this is a different material, with it being a ceramic, that I'm hoping that it will definitely show off. So as soon as I started applying it to the tips of this pine cone, I already knew that I was going to be in love. So here's another one that I did not plan on doing anything to, I thought, but as I tried to wash off what was on there, that's not really a chalkboard. It should just be something metal, a magnet board. I did end up getting the wording off, but then again, I was having so much fun with that patina that I could not help myself. But yeah, let's take this up a notch and add a little bit of patina to this metal. And you know how we crafters are, we never throw anything away, and I have this random magnet that came off of something. The color of the brown matches that rust, that fakey rust that the company had put on, the manufacturer had put it on. So all I'm doing is going to go around with that blue-green patina around the outer edge, and then I'll print something off from Graphics Fairy as a print, just to really make this a decorative piece. Black and then sealed it with some polycrylic that it was not going to stay black. So now I think I'm up to 4 different types of
patina paint. Some is more of a wax, where these are more of a paint that I'm using first. So I'm just having a lot of fun with it. It just takes a little bit. So this is the rust. I just dab it on because, as you know, in rust metal, that it does actually erase it, so it gives it a little bit of texture. So I'm just randomly picking spots that are pleasing to my eye to put this color. And then now next, I'm going to go in with this very, very, very brilliant bright blue color, which are just almost looks like it's a hot mess at first, but wait till I add the other two waxes on top of this. They definitely start to change a little bit. They do not quite stay the color that they are, but I definitely love to add these other two waxes on top of this and blend it together. Then after I have my little birdie how I like it, I'm going to go ahead and seal it in with some polycrylic. I definitely love layering those waxes and those patinas.
Let's paint these up.
Find a versatile piece that you can use for candlesticks, or you can use for vases, because I really thought they were vases. So I'm just getting them cleaned up. They're a little too goldy for me, though I really like that aqua distressing on them. So let's see if I can get these sprayed up black and reproduce something. How many of you all watching have I spiked your interest with all these patinas? I am obsessed with using these patinas. I love looking in the thrift store, finding items that I can use, especially the rust one. Now, I love layering them, and I think that's what they're actually meant to do. So I'm just going in randomly with this first rust layering, just random spots. Tell as it oxidizes how the color I put on it changes. So the same thing's going to happen. These two are going to mix, and now this one is more of a like textured paint. It's really quite thick, but as you know, what rust does, it plumps up. So this is perfect. I love layering the two together. Because the black doesn't necessarily show that reddish brown of the rust very well, there's this one, and probably the boldest color that I've ever used. But once you kind of combine the two of them, oh my goodness, am I in love. One of these patinas is you just keep working it until you love it. So yep, I don't want to cover up the original black. I still want that to be shown. And this bright blue color will kind of start to oxidize and change a little bit also. It's definitely in the eye of the beholder of what you think is finished. So I actually even went a little bit farther, did a little bit of the silver wax on top of it. I like that a little bit better. or that looked beautiful as is. It's such a hard decision, but you know when it's finished. So that's all I did was kind of dry brush just a little bit of that silver wax on, just blending it all together just in case there was any really huge clumps. But I love how these turned out. Can I say that anymore? Probably. If we don't love what we're doing, what are we doing? Now I'm going to go ahead and spray it with a coat of polycrylic just to make sure everything is sealed in. I think the waxes and the patina are good to go afterwards, but I'm not positive. So since I'm going to be reselling these, I'd rather put some polycrylic on them. And I had a good idea that I was just going to do them my basic underneath black, do them white, but I absolutely love those patinas. With a small paintbrush, I'm just going to add some of this aqua blue patina. It's just called patina, that's all. And so all I'm going to do, there's little bitty flowers and little bitty areas on these crosses that I can accent by using this. So I'm just going to go in, with a little bit of paintbrush I've used this for patinas before, so it's kind of spread out, but oh my gosh, look at how automatically it just makes it pop. Absolutely love combining them. So now I have the rust one. There's some other details that I want to make pop. Then if you want your colors to look separated, you can leave it as is, but I like to use the silver wax just ever so slightly using one of those Dollar Tree stencil brushes, and that just ties it all together. And I'll always go back in and tweak it just a little bit. If the rust color looks just too rusty, you can always put a little bit more of that patina on there, and it kind of makes a green aged effect. So that's all I'm doing, is just going back in and doing just a little bit more. Oh my goodness, I absolutely can you see why I'm obsessed with doing these? It's always funny when you start something, what your plan is and what you actually end up doing. So let's get this one painted up with a new paint job of black and seal it with some polycrylic so we can play with the patinas on this piece. That is definitely why I've always loved the white and distressing, that it makes all these little details pop. But these patinas, oh my gosh, do they ever do. So I'm going in with that aqua. There's that beautiful flower in the middle of this. And so I'm just doing a downward, just a little bit of the patina goes a long way. And as you see, I'm using that stencil brush again, and then I'm just letting it hit those edges of those flowers, and it automatically is just making them pop. For what I'm doing to accent, it's really a very dry brushing technique. These patinas are definitely, the ones I'm using right now are dry. So all I'm doing is using those brushes that have been flared out, if not a Dollar Tree stencil brush, and just really letting it hit all those sharp edges on these details. And that's just really making them pop. Yet again, if this is a look you like, you can stop and you're finished, but I do love blending a little bit with this silver wax. It just definitely ties those two colors together without changing them. Now next up is this beautiful flowered sun. Oh my goodness. So going in to spray paint it, there's kind of like an angle you have to hit to be able to get that hole underneath petal. So I'm just making sure that I'm getting into that little crevice as I'm spraying, and then definitely sealing this in with polycrylic. Unlike the first two that I did with the combination of the rust patina and the patina in that bluish color, I am going to start out with the bluish color on this, but I'm not going to be using the rust color on this. I want the sun to be bright and I want it to pop. So I'm just going in with that stenciling brush, the same thing, just letting it hit the edge of the petals. Going to be using a combination along with this other patina, and as you see, it is much brighter, well deserving of a sun. So same thing, this one is much thicker, it's much more condensed, so I'm definitely making sure that I'm doing a dry brush technique, and I'm doing that same thing where I'm just going from the outside edge of the petal, working my way in. Now I'm going to go back with that other patina one and work my way in. So as you see, there's a natural curve going with this, so I'm just going to keep mixing the two until I love the outer edge of the petals. When it comes to the sun's face, I'm going to use the much brighter patina on all the detailed edges of this face, these little buttons that go around the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and just highlight them, and then I'll go back in with that lighter patina and blend it in. Little did I know when I started this video that this was going to be a lot of patinas, but I'm absolutely loving how they transform a piece. But first, I'm going to fill in these little eyes. I don't know what it is about those eyes being hollowed out that creep me out, so I'm just using a little bit of wood filler to fill in those eyes. After a little bit of shellac spray to seal in that wood filler, I'm going to go ahead and get this painted with the same Rust-Oleum black paint. And you guys probably always wonder, how many cans do I go through? If you're constantly moving and having it on a turntable, I really think after I was all said and done, I only went through 2 cans. I am serious. As long as you keep moving around. And yes, 2 full cans is what I went through to make all these items over. And for the polycrylic, nope, I didn't even go through a full can. If you're constantly moving, stepping back far enough, not getting too much product, it really is made to go a long way. So I was checking out those wood pieces at Hobby Lobby. I decided to go look to see what kind of patinas they had in the rub and buff line. I don't mind this rub and buff line at all. And then I kind of spied this color and I was like, well, what is that? So I went to my phone because it really didn't show. You just kind of had to guess. And I'm like, oh, a copper, an aged copper. Oh my gosh, wait till you see how this transforms this piece. I was really just going to paint it up cement. Wasn't really sure how that was going to look because look at all those details I would have had to get into. Yeah, not so fun. So, yep, just doing this copper. Look at that. Oh my goodness, guys. Just one of those Dollar Tree stencil brushes yet again. A little bit of this goes a long way, and it is just popping the details on this little boy and girl. Oh my goodness. No, this is supposed to be a garden piece, an outside piece, so I'm going to go ahead and put a couple coats of polycrylic in the hopes to seal it in. That aren't going to be spray painted black. I'm sure I'm surprising y'all, but I'm going to get the tag removed off of these letters that create E or T, whichever one the buyer wants them to do, and I'm going to add just a little bit of the rust patina to these letters. It's already got that aged going onto this galvanized. I just want to help it along a little bit more. A bigger container of rust definitely has a texture to it, but we all know rust bumps up, so that is the fun of it all. So yep, I'm just going to go random places where I think that maybe here and there it would rust on its own, and then after getting that applied to where I want to really give it that real rust look, I'm going to use the other smaller jar of rust over it. And then this time after I got it all done, I thought, you know what, I knew that they sold a brown patina one, but I haven't purchased it yet. I thought I'm going to take a little bit of my antiquing wax and just take it up a notch. It's always a hard decision. I know that black sells for me. I know that black metal sells for me. So when it came to this piece, I'm like, I know I need to paint it black, but I think I can add a little bit of patina. Not as much as what the patina is right now, because actually as I'm washing this off, all the rust that is creating is coming off on my hand. So I definitely need to repaint it and seal it in. Did you all see last week's thrift haul with the makeovers? And I had done the little boy and little girl statue, and I had painted that one black, and I had used this Rub and Buff copper color. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to go as extreme as I did on that statue, because the statue had so much more details, but I thought a little bit of accent on this I think will be very pretty. So now for this, oh my goodness, I just absolutely love those floral magnets. I'm going to go ahead and remove the hooks, remove the magnets. I'm going to see if I can take or tape off the wire that's the magnets are attached to. And then let's see about filling in those holes to get rid of that rope. That we have their new coat of paint on and sealed in. I absolutely love these little roses. I'm going to take some of this patina, which is an aqua blue patina that I link everything I use down below in my Amazon store. So all I'm doing is using a Dollar Tree stencil brush to slightly touch the tip of the petals to give them a little accent so you can see that separation of petals. As I'm screwing the hooks back in, you can tell that I used a little bit of that patina on this frame, but I did not like it. As I always say, do something until you love it. So after I got my hooks back on, I actually took some of the black rub and buff and went back over that frame to cover up what I had done. I just did not like it on the frame itself. Since I took the rope off, I need something else to hang it. So I'm just using one of the simple picture hangers to hang it. This is actually not a very heavy piece. And I know that this was in good shape, but that glossy white and not being able to really see those birdies, I definitely wanted to make them pop. So yep, I'm giving it a new coat of black paint, sealing that in with some polycrylic, and then yep, we're going to do a little bit of patina. I tell you, those patinas have been a game changer for me. This is actually just the silver wax, so it's the same brand that I get from Amazon that some of the patinas I have been using are. So I just actually, you can use your finger or a small brush like I am using, and then a little bit goes a long way. So definitely make sure you just have a little bit on, because you can see how fast, kind of like the rubbing buffs, that once you put it on there, it is on there. So you want to make sure that you're not putting it anywhere you don't want it, because you'll have to repaint over it. But I definitely think it's just going to accentuate these birds, these leaves, these branches. And then I'm just going to go along the outer tip just to tie this all in of each one of those plates. Now we're up to making this horse over. Now I love those little glasses on there. When I researched it, they weren't really worth that much, so I don't feel bad painting that. Definitely, yeah, it's a fun little print or whatever, but it just wasn't me. And if you feel it, you feel it. So, yep, getting this sprayed up with some Rust-Oleum paint and primer too, starting off with that black base, and then sealing that in after it's dry with polycrylic. So when you take a picture, instead of turning your camera on, and that is plain and simply what I did. So I'm going to be layering a few different layers here. I've got this Prima Rust patina on there first. Now I definitely love mixing these two patinas together. Now this is another rust, and as they oxidize, they do change. So going over this horse again with that, and I still cannot believe that I took a photo and did not video for you all the first layer, but that's the fun of the patinas. You just keep layering and playing with them, and as they oxidize, they change color a little bit, and then you just, there again, do it until you love it. What I'm trying to achieve with the antiquing wax, and now I'm using some rub and buff black, because that secondary rust kind of gave it a greenish tint that I don't like showing through, and I don't really want my horse to be green. So all I'm doing is just ever so lightly and not putting a lot on, toning that down. And there again, yep, I'm just keep working with them until I love it. And I definitely like how this is turning out after I'm adding that rub and buff. So never fear, you just keep layering it. It's only paint. You can, or patinas or rub and buff, and you can just keep adding more. So now up next is this little birdie. So that same paint job. Yep, I am a creature of habit. But if it works, you leave it alone. So Rust-Oleum paint and primer, seal it in with polycrylic, and then we get to start playing with the patinas. But now I'm curious. I've done enough videos now with the patinas and sharing them with you all that I do have a few people that commented that they are now trying the patinas. But just let me know down in the comment below if I have inspired you to start playing with some of these beautiful patinas. Not that I've ever taken any classes on patina. I just do what my eye likes. It's kind of a trial and error type of thing, and I don't even really know if I'm supposed to seal them in, but I can feel texture from those two jar patinas, so I usually do, especially since I think this could be an outside piece with some polycrylic. This beautiful mirror. Oh my goodness, I was just attracted by all that beautiful detail that I could probably do some patinas on it. I don't feel as if it needs a paint job. It's in wonderful condition. Go ahead and use these 3 rub and buffs. So I have the copper, I have a goldy antique, and then I also have the silver, and I love layering the 3 of them on top of each other. So yep, just simple of a Dollar Tree stencil brush has been working out just fine for me. So just a really dry, very dry brush, a very soft touch, just let it hit on those details. When we were on our thrifting weekend, and it's just a resin clock. It looks like by the tag on the bottom it's a home interiors, but it definitely has some beautiful details that I really like. So I'm just gonna get it washed up, get that tag taken off, and tape off that face because nope, I wasn't able to remove the face. Oh, so let's pop all these beautiful details. Now, you saw the little boy and girl I did in this copper. I absolutely love it. But I've been playing a little bit with the copper and the gold, and oh my gosh, do they accentuate each other. So that's what I'm going to do again, just using one of those Dollar Tree stencil brushes to apply it. Wait, I was going to leave these owls all black, so I got them painted up. I got it polycrylic. I absolutely loved them, and then I started to do that copper with that gold. So, okay, yep, I'm going to add some to the details on these beautiful owls. I couldn't help myself. Thought I'd give your eyes a moment's rest from always seeing black. Oh yes, I have this little galvanized hanging type of olive bucket. It's got that screening that reminds me of an olive bucket, but it's just kind of blasé. But I don't want to paint the whole thing with the slats on it. I can't envision it black or white to do the enamel wear look on it. So I'm just going to take some of the patinas because the features on it are the same color as the metal itself, so I was just going to go through and add a little bit of the patina. Now these patinas, as you add them, they are quite bright at first, but as they oxidize and they dry, they change color. So I'm going to start off right with my brightest one, which is the turquoise color, and then I'm just there again just using one of those stencil brushes from the Dollar Tree store to apply it. For the label area, I'm going to have to switch over to a little bit smaller one, or I'm going to have the whole surface area covered. So at first I started off without tape, which wasn't too bad, but once I started layering off more of my colors, I did end up taping off the area. But so hopefully I can make this pop. Now we're going on to the rust color, and there again, the two are going to start to mix. They're going to make an aged greenish color as I add them together. I find the thing with the patinas is you just keep mixing them together until you love them. So I'm also going to go on little corners here to pop a little bit more aged, because I really do have a lot of fun playing with these patinas, but I do know a little bit goes a long way.
Okay, so what did you think? Give me a comment down below. Do you like me kind of recapping into all one technique so you can see how I've involved myself with the craft? And I absolutely love the patinas. Let me know if I have kind of singled this out a little bit better. I got a lot of people comment in my makeover thrift haul videos that they're a little bit on the intimidated side quite yet, but I find just keep layering them till you love them and they will turn out. So again, thanks for watching today's video, guys, and as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this content the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what I'm up to. Bye!